Hey, this is Pamela Riemenschneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. And Greg, great commitment to the poor work-life balance, calling in on vacation.
It kind of looks like I'm in a work at home office.
Kind of does. It's amazing that there are those everywhere you go.
I know. Well, yes, I'm on vacation. I'm actually within a very short drive of the Idaho Potato Commission, but I'm not checking in with them because I'm on vacation.
I'm really disappointed that you are not in the giant potato Airbnb. I'm just saying. There was an opportunity missed here.
My vacation's not over.
Your vacation's not over. The scale model of this thing.
I
You could be
still
seeing
might
it.
see that this week. Who knows?
Go drive past and take a picture. Take a selfie next to the tater.
Yes, I'll be on the lookout for it.
Well, this week in the Produce Reporter, we had quite a few stories about automation, that retail automation, warehouse automation, restaurant automation. And then in restaurant trends, this is something we kind of joked about in the past, back when Luby's and Furs and some of the bigger like buffet chains were hurting before the pandemic and during the pandemic. But a research from, what is it, Placer AI? One of these places, Placer
Yeah.
AI says that foot traffic is returning to buffets. I can't remember the last time I went to a buffet.
No, but this makes so much sense now that even the Biden administration says COVID is totally over. Everything's totally back to normal. Uh, Inflation is bad. Food service is expensive. Food is expensive. Produce is not as expensive as a lot of other foods, but feeding your family costs a lot. So where can we get the most bang for the buck? Buffets are right there. I mean they're not. I mean, you can joke about it's not the best food, whatever. It's quantity food for the family, and it's money well spent.
And I think that there is, those circle diagrams, the Venn diagrams, where we talk about people who want to get a lot of food for a little bit of money and people who are grossed out by buffets. Two separate circles,
Yeah.
definitely. So right there in the sweet spot is this traffic returning to buffets. Although I do note that the study that they're talking about is Cici's Pizza, Golden Corral, and Pizza Ranch. So this isn't like, I mean, Golden Corral would be considered one of those all you can eat, like huge places. But from some of the things that I've seen, especially when we're talking about places like Vegas, some of the more discount buffets still aren't doing so great. And it's just, but to our point earlier, I mean, Chris Vaillant, if you follow him on LinkedIn, has some great stuff. He shares some of the best thought pieces, and one of the things that he shared this week was talking about the cost of food and how it's really starting to hit people. And I chimed in that, I mean, to take my family to a place like Ike's Love and Sandwiches, we like to go there. My son's name is Ike. It's a great sandwich, but for a family of four, it was $70 for a counter service sandwich place.
Yeah,
And
that's lunch.
that's lunch. For my 14-year-old, that's not even lunch. That's like a sandwich this big and chips and a drink, and we got to go home and eat an apple and some cheese because that wasn't enough food for him. So I think we're at a crossing, like a turning point where people are definitely going to be looking toward buffets. But the buffet has changed, especially since the pandemic. I don't know if you ever went to Jason's Deli before, but I think people are getting a sticker shock when they find out it's no longer all you can eat. So I think that concept's going to stay the same, but I think it's going to have to tweak for food costs and go towards things like limiting and not being a huge trough of food like it used to be.
Well, I mean, those pizza ones are on there, and they're all you can eat, right?
Yeah, but pizza is cheap to make. Pizza is, I mean, it's just dough and cheese and sauce with sprinkles of, so that I can see how people, the all you can eat pizza buffet would definitely be something that would be a lasting kind of thing. But the all you can eat crab legs and all you can eat this and that and the other, it's going to be going toward more like a weight based one, like a lot of retailers. Our favorite lunch in when we go to Carol Stream to the home office is over at Angelo Caputo's, and I hit the salad bar every time there, and that's by weight. I just had the salad bar at Longo's in Toronto, and it was fabulous, but again, it was by weight, and it was really good. So I think maybe stepping up what's on the salad bar can definitely get people in there and get some more traffic.
Well, it shows that value matters even more to consumers now, and this goes against some of the takeout trends and delivery, and it's back to the experience. And so I think it's a good sign for at least a segment of the economy.
Definitely. And when we're talking about food cost as well, we had an article from Richard Smoley this week talking about Florida Senator Marco Rubio is planning to introduce legislation to limit junk food purchase with SNAP dollars. And, you know, neither of us on either side of the spectrum, and Senator Rubio pointed this out, this is a bipartisan kind of thing. Like, a lot of people are in favor of limiting what some estimates are 20% of SNAP dollars are spent on food with minimal nutritional value, like soda and candy.
Yeah, you and I have advocated for this in our limited sphere. But IFPA has gotten a lot more political, and officially, when we talked to them late last year, I talked to Molly Van Loo about IFPA's position in some of these feeding programs, and it's always officially been expanding produce and not necessarily taking on other food groups. So in addition to what's there at baseline, produce higher. But Kathy Burns has not been bashful talking about how produce needs to be more upfront about its position in nutrition and America's diet. And, you know, she said at the big show last fall, we're the best thing in the grocery store, the best thing to eat. And she said again at PBH, kind of hinting a month ago about, you know, we're not here to pick enemies, but we need to find our place. And it makes me think, like, maybe it's time to start getting tough as an industry and picking some fights and making the junk food lobbyists justify their positions in these programs and expose them and say, we are an industry and this is what we offer. Let's hear your point, and why is yours a bigger part of this program than we are?
Right. And we both can remember the longest time that it took for WIC to get produce added to the spend, and it always had to be cost neutral, and it always had to be something where they weren't taking away from juice and dairy. And yet I know people personally that don't even get their WIC allotment of juice because it is so much, or the dairy is so much. And they would welcome more fruits and vegetables. So to give a little more freedom to that, and it's the chokehold of the lobby for juice and dairy. It's not a surprise. It's not a secret. And that's hugely political what SNAP dollars can be spent on. And it's huge business too for a lot of retailers. SNAP can be anywhere from 8 to 30% of their sales from the latest estimates that I saw. It's a lot of money to talk about, and it's really important for the produce industry to, like you said, maybe pick some fights and talk about, justify why we should be subsidizing expenditures on something that is not good for people.
Yeah, I understand there's a place for diplomacy, but there's a place for advocacy, and hopefully their work in Washington is starting to pay off, where they can find out where some of those places are to get in between some of the areas. And I mean, you're not out picking fights doesn't always lead to good things, but pushing some of the right buttons and some people in the right directions. And it's not a partisan issue. It is, I mean, that's something that both parties can get on track with nutrition, and produce is a winner, and it's in all the states. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff out of Florida is bipartisan pushes.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of it, especially over the next few weeks. If it actually does get introduced as legislation, at this point, it was just an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, and a lot of the times those are just poking a hornet's nest to see how things go, throwing spaghetti at the wall, if you will. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what kind of advocacy we see coming out of, they just had the Food is Medicine conference. And we've seen some produce prescription stuff moving forward, especially on platforms like Instacart had some things. So a lot of things are moving, a lot of things to watch. So we're going to cut it off there. Let you get back to your vacation. So that's it for the Produce Reporter Weekend Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up. Everybody say hi to George. She's never out here. See ya.